It is over.
Hey guys, how are you all doing this fine Wednesday night? And we are the Insiders with you as always on a Wednesday after AEW, of course, tonight. And we have got some things to review with you guys, right? Looks like there's some things going on. So going to start out a little bit different. As always, we will have Gary. Gary was nice enough to send us an audio clip. We will have that coming up. Also, as always, my co-host Jeff is here tonight. Jeff, man, how are you doing? Are you ready for the show?
Man, I'm ready, and we've got a couple things that we got to go over. So yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get right to it, shall we? I'm gonna borrow a line that some of you may know from Mr. Wade Barrett. I believe I've got some breaking news. And it's not bad news. Well, maybe some of it could be bad news. It's just some breaking news. So let's start with that, shall we? Let's start right off what we saw on AEW. So it looks like Mr. Miro has a home. So Rusev is now in AEW. We kind of expected this to happen on Saturday at the pay-per-view. We did not get that, but we did get a reveal tonight. Jeff, I want you to go over this because I've been crazy busy tonight, and I didn't get a chance to see this yet. So, Jeff, if you would, tell the people out there what happened. We got some people asking. Gavin E. says, I'm new. What happens on this show? We are a wrestling podcast, Gavin, and we are going over wrestling. So that is why we're here, and welcome to you. But, Jeff,
Yes.
yeah, let everybody know what happened with Miro tonight on AEW.
Yeah, so Saturday night on AEW All Out, we got a little bit of an announcement from Kip Sabian, and he let us know that he had a best man that was going to be coming soon, and we thought that was going to happen on Saturday. It did not, but to our surprise, or at least to some people's surprise, we got the debut of none other than Miro himself. Miro Day is now all elite. He cut a heck of a promo in which he talked about the glass ceilings and the brass rings that the other place had that he was always trying to go after, and he said that you can take those brass rings and shove them up your derriere. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, but you can shove them you know where. So he let the world be known that Miro is here, and listen, dude looks good. I'm really excited to see what he does in AEW, and what a surprise. I mean, I know a lot of people had kind of projected that he'd be there for quite some time, but honestly, really glad that he's there. The one thing I will say is it's kind of funny to me that he leaves one company out of a really terrible wedding angle, and now he's someone's best man. So let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that this one goes well, that he's just not the best man, that he ends up doing some big things there, and I think he will. But yeah, really glad to see him on TV because honestly, the guy is super talented, and anytime we can see him in a ring, I'm all for it. So yeah, let's give this a shot. Let's see what Miro does, and instead of Rusev Day, because Rusev is no more, it's Miro Day, and I'm pretty sure that Miro Day will not be looked at as people not getting it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, there you go. So there is some breaking news right out of AEW. And let's go a little bit more into another breaking story that came out earlier today, and that concerns Mr. AJ Styles. So we saw a tweet, or not a tweet, a Twitch. He posted this on his Twitch a little bit earlier today saying that he is about ready to pack it in, saying that when this contract is finished, he is done. He said he's going to talk about it on Friday on SmackDown. Now, I mean, obviously, from what we've heard, it kind of seems like it definitely is an angle. His contract isn't up for a while yet, so he's not. I kind of doubt he's just going to up and retire. So it's probably some kind of angle that he's kind of going for, and we're probably going to see some sort of culmination to it on SmackDown on Friday. And what AJ is going to do, it could be where he's going next. I don't know if it's going to be something with Jeff Hardy anymore. That might just have gone off to be with to a different direction, but yeah, so AJ, I really kind of doubt he's going anywhere personally, but we'll see. AJ has, made some comments there saying that, he got to see his kids and he had spent some time with the family and stuff while COVID was going on. So, and now he said he's able to see his son's football game. So he was kind of saying all the right things, but, I don't know, Jeff. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a, and this was pointed out by a couple other people on the Twitter land, but kind of reminded me a little bit of the whole Mark Henry thing. You remember when Mark Henry kind of did this? And said he was walking away? Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I think it's just probably to attract some attention to SmackDown and get maybe AJ into a different sort of story. But yeah, we'll see. I really don't see AJ stepping away from wrestling. At least not now anyway. I mean, yes, there have been rumors saying that he may want to go with his friends Gallows and Anderson and may end up back in Impact, or maybe he wants to go to AEW. There have been rumors flying around about him that he's maybe not as happy as he kind of maybe thought he would be. So, let's see what happens on Friday night with SmackDown. There's a bunch of storylines going on for Friday for SmackDown that we're going to have coming up. So SmackDown going to be an interesting show this week. But yeah, so there you go. So we got you a little bit of breaking news. This kind of thing happened today, earlier, and of course, the stuff that happened on AEW tonight. So let me say some hellos to some people in the chat. Of course, we have famous KJ Carter. Hello to you. Joshua Mickelson is here. Hello to you. Of course, Gavin is here. We have Brandon Barnes is here as well. Chris is here. Chris DeZuba is here. Chris, the guy who loves to make jokes about my age. That's why we love Chris. Kyle Scully is here. Gust is here. C Wrestling is here as well. Butter Spark has joined us also. And so welcome everybody. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking your time this evening to join us tonight. So, as I said, we have Gary Cassidy, who has given us some audio clip to play for you guys tonight. Of course, unfortunately, Gary can't join us as he used to. It's just too darn late where he lives, and he's got to get up very early in the morning and stuff like that. So, hard for Gary to get on the show. He said he might try to pop in one time or another, but as of right now, he is nice enough to give us audio clips. And then, of course, we will go through with our opening bell. We'll talk about some of the hot topics from the last few days of wrestling. And over the past weekend, we had an AEW pay-per-view. We'll discuss that a little bit as well. And after that, we will have our debate segment, as always. And tonight, we will give you guys the chance to pick a debate for us. We have done this before. I know you guys kind of liked it, enjoyed it, so we will be doing that tonight as well. You guys can pick a debate. Doesn't have to be a wrestling topic. We can talk about pretty much anything. So you guys get to give us a topic. And and then, of course, as always, we will have a Callan Corner tonight as well. C says, shots fired, Jeff. Shots fired. Discussing the new AEW pay-per-view. Does Jeff have a toilet flush sound?
You know I do. I have a toilet flush sound.
Johnny Bates has joined us as well. So, all right, without further ado, Jeff, let us get to Mr. Gary Cassidy and his Gary Cassidy couple minutes here. So here we go.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So bit of a tricky one because I think there's only one place we can start. But of course, full transparency, I am speaking before Dynamite happens, so I don't know what is going to be said on Dynamite, but I think we can only start at that moment from All Out, when Matt Hardy had quite the I don't want to put too many different words in here that could land me in trouble, so we'll say just he hit his head quite hard, visibly quite hard, looked a little bit shaken up. So I guess the best thing I can do is just give you my thoughts on that, because we've seen a lot of different information about Rebby Hardy, Matt's wife, saying it was, I believe it was 1000% concussed, she said. Tony Khan saying he wasn't concussed. Yeah, it didn't look good. That's the one thing. For a start, when I saw that spot happening at the start of the match, I was like, ooh, that's a big way to start off this match. Maybe something that took me by surprise, you know, looked more like an end spot than an opening spot, but they done it, and it didn't go well. For me, personal opinion here, I think they should have just stopped the match, completely quit it, just not went any further. Didn't look like Matt was in any kind of shape to continue. In the post call, Tony Khan had said that the proper concussion checks were done. I'm not going to say they weren't, but it didn't seem to me like there was enough time to get them done. And obviously, they just rushed straight to the finish. So if Matt was that okay to continue, why wouldn't they just do the rest of the match? And I really am not a fan of him climbing the scaffold. A lot of journalists, I didn't get a question with Tony Khan, but a lot of journalists did follow up on it and left him kind of visibly frustrated. For me, I just think it was a terrible moment. When, like, no blame on any of the competitors. These kind of things do happen. It's wrestling, you know. This is always said where it's wrestling, it's not ballet, but people say that legs still get broken in ballet, so there's risks and everything. I think that statement works both ways. But for me, it was just horrendous. But it's one of those things that happens, and then it's how you react. And I think the reaction for me wasn't the right reaction. My downfall here is that it took me so far out of the event that I completely missed Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida, because I was that annoyed at what I'd just seen, at the fact that it played out that way. So yeah, really annoying. And again, recording this before Dynamite happens, because I won't be able to watch Dynamite until tomorrow. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen, but for me it was just horrible to watch, and I don't think anyone would have enjoyed seeing that. So I mentioned the media call there. Of course, didn't get a question in with Tony Khan, but I did get to ask John Moxley about the person who ran at him during his entrance, which was great fun. That's one that, if anyone is over 18 and doesn't mind expletives being used or strong language, definitely check that out. It was great fun. Loved chatting to Moxley, even though it was only one question, and got to speak to Chris Jericho as well last week about the build for his match. So I feel like it's important to highlight the good things about All Out as well, because I loved that main event. I think, man, MJF made himself look like a star. Obviously, Moxley helped to make him look like a star, but geez, that guy, he showed that he can wrestle a match. Done a lot of it under a crimson mask. I'm not the biggest fan of blading, but man, I've got a lot of respect for MJF for what he done. For me, the match of the night was actually on the kickoff show. It was actually on the buy-in, and that was Private Party versus Dark Order. Absolutely loved that match. Thought it was great. I did go back and watch Thunder Rosa versus Shida. Loved it when I went back the second time to watch it and actually paid attention. And yeah, I thought it was overall a good pay-per-view. The main thing is it was way too long. And I know that I'm saying that as someone who is in the UK and ended up staying up until 6 or after 6 to be on the post-show call. So I'm a glutton for punishment there. It was the one time that I was like, right, I definitely need to stay up and do this. But yeah, it was a good show. It was just way too long, and that Matt Hardy moment, of course, took everyone out of it. And you know, obviously there's a few other little things like Matt Sydal kind of falling off the ropes, which I felt so bad for the guy, but that match was great as well. Yeah, I think All Out was good. And for me, no matter what happens on Dynamite, like after we speak just now through time machines, no matter what happens, you've got to think, has there ever been a better option, a better week for Dynamite to break the 1 million mark? Man, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. So, WWE. Let's get down to it. Everyone's favourite faction, Retribution. I know that we've had a lot of chat about Retribution of late. We did speak, I think the last time I was speaking to you guys live, we spoke about how I didn't think that the people under the masks were actually going to be the people unmasked. And you know what? I'm still not convinced on that. I know that we saw, you know, an actual promo this week. We had that great fun thing where the Retribution's branding came up on screen, which is that Family Guy segment for any fans of Family Guy, where it's like, who was that? Oh, I don't know. And then it's like, oh, it was Cobra. We know it was Cobra because they've got brand recognition. They were shouting Cobra. That's Retribution right now for me. But yeah, I'm just glad we're going somewhere with the story. I think it needs that. I think I'm annoyed that they're only on Raw, but I'm just glad we're getting some kind of progression, and that's what's necessary. Speaking of storyline progression, I think we should mention Cedric Alexander as well. Man, how long did they take to get to where we are just now? And then we got a month of storytelling in the space of one night. But I'm just glad we've got there. I think Monday night, let's go back to Friday before I mention Monday. Friday night was great. Friday night was a solid SmackDown. One of the best SmackDowns of the year. Monday night for me was an odd one because it was very hit and miss, but I think it did have a lot of hits. Again, I had reported that Vince McMahon didn't see the start, didn't see the Raw script until the start of the day on Monday. So a lot of stuff was pitched on the prerequisite that it might be changed. I mean, what makes it any different from any other week there, right? But a lot of stuff was pitched on the preface that Vince McMahon hadn't seen anything yet from the script, from what was written. And then it did seem to get a little bit changed. We saw that from the fact that nothing got announced until 90 minutes before. But hey, it was an okay show. I quite liked it. Dominic Mysterio showed that he is incredibly skilled in the ring and out of it, if you see where most of his offense came. Street fight specialist Dominic Mysterio. I'm really excited by that going forward. Yeah, really interesting. And I guess the one other WWE thing we should talk about, I know you guys are big Bray Wyatt fans. I've not heard any, there's a lot of rumours flying about, but I've not heard anything about that. That's not to say that there's no foundation to it, but it's not something that I've heard anything about in terms of anything going on with Bray Wyatt that would keep him off TV in any way or anything like that. So that's something I'll keep an eye out for. Sadly, I can't give you any other information on that because I simply don't know it. So I don't want to give you any fake information there. But there are some interesting rumours going about someone else on SmackDown, and that's AJ Styles. Apparently, he said on a stream, and I've not seen the stream, so I've only seen a transcript, that he's thinking of retiring. That's interesting considering, you know, just out of the title picture recently. Just lost the title recently. And yeah, the guy, I keep saying it, you know, his age doesn't define him. He looks like he could go forever, but man, if he wants to hang up the boots, then who could begrudge him of that? It'll be really interesting to see where this goes. And well, it sounds bad, but I mean, there's never a better time to do it. We've got Roman Reigns back. We've got a very, very crowded SmackDown right now. Think we might see a lot of those people move over in the draft, but yeah, I guess if there was ever a time to choose your retirement, I would hate to see him retire. I would love to see him have more title reigns because I think he's money, but if he wants to do it, then I guess there's a lot of people that could step into that role, so we'll see how that one plays out. Hey guys, I feel hang up the boots, then who could begrudge him of that? It'll be really interesting to see where this goes. And well, it sounds bad, but I mean, there's never a better time to do it. We've got Roman Reigns back. We've got a very, very crowded SmackDown right now. I think we might see a lot of those people move over in the draft. But yeah, I guess if there was ever a time to choose your retirement, I would hate to see him retire. I would love to see him have more title reigns because I think he's money. But if he wants to do it, then I guess there's a lot of people that could step into that role. So we'll see how that one plays out. And the last thing I want to mention, just a wee quick note, I've taken up a lot of your guys' time here. Thankfully, I know you can edit me down because we're pre-recorded. Well, you're not, you're live, but because I'm pre-recorded, you can edit me down. But I just want to do a quick little mention for my favourite promotion right now. I've made no secret about that, Impact Wrestling. Impact, I've been singing their praises for absolutely ages, but yeah, Eric Young winning the title last week. I had the chance to interview him. That was great fun. I just love watching Eric Young right now. This week was a particularly special little episode. I loved the bookending of having two different Eric Young segments with two completely different stories. That was something he spoke to me about, where he felt really lucky, where he's not been in a story for a long time because of, we know where he was. And now he's in two great stories. That Alicia Edwards segment at the start was incredible. Loved that slap. Oh, that was nice. Loved the pile driver tease. Really cool little segment. Lovely little bridge into the Tommy Dreamer match for later. And then Rich Swann comes back. Rich Swann, for me, is a future Impact World Champion. I think they might even put the title on him in this feud with Eric Young. And I don't think Eric Young would be too disheartened if he did, because it seems like he just wants to be there, putting on good shows, putting on good storylines, putting on good matches, being there for the betterment of the company. So yeah, Impact for me is just incredible right now. We could wax lyrical about the X division, we could wax lyrical about, the tag team division, the knockouts division. They're just putting on good stuff. I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to see where they go from here, and cannot wait for Bound for Glory. Hope you guys have a good night. Thank you so much for yet again agreeing that I could do the show pre-recorded, because man, I'm I'm not able to stay up an awful lot these days. It's good fun because it means I can, as you guys say, DVR the wrestling. I can go through it without the adverts, and man, I forgot how enjoyable wrestling was without the adverts, so that's good stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for again letting me be part of the show, even from a pre-recorded format. Hopefully get to chat to you guys live again soon. And yeah, I just hope you guys are doing well. Hope all the listeners are doing well, and hopefully we get some really good wrestling going forward, because man, I think we've had a pretty good week, so hopefully it continues. Have a good one.
All right, guys. Well, that was Gary Cassidy joining us. Not so live, but that was Gary Cassidy sending in some audio clips. So thank you, Gary, as always, for doing that for us. That's awesome. Yeah, so let's dig right into it, shall we? Of course, we heard Gary go over some things that we will probably be talking about as well. And, of course, he went over the AJ Styles stuff also that we touched on earlier in the show. So let me see who came in. We saw Johnny Bates, as I said. Sonny Wolf has joined us as well. Welcome to you, and welcome to everybody who is out there listening. Again, if you are new to the channel, please go and give a like to this video, share it with friends, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching from anywhere else, Facebook or Twitch, wherever, make sure you hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel also. We would be entirely grateful for you doing that. So let's get into it. Jeff, what is our first topic tonight?
Well, let's go back to last night and talk about the new NXT champion.
Yes.
One and only Finn Balor.
Finn Balor, yes, absolutely. So, obviously, we got this continuation of the four-way matchup the week before on Super Tuesday, and then yesterday became Super Tuesday 2. the sequel. Yes, we got the match between Finn Balor and Adam Cole, baby, and it was a great match. I got to watch it after Impact last night. And it was a really, really good match between these two guys. A lot of finishers that were, of course, Finn landed a coup de grace, was kicked out of, and then the super kick by Adam Cole kicked out of. So a lot of kicking out of finishers and stuff like that. Finn really sold the knee injury as well, but it ended up Finn Balor wins the NXT Championship, and as we saw him walking out, was really cool. We saw him getting some congrats from Triple H, of course, William Regal back there, and then we saw Adam Cole, and Adam Cole kind of gave him the the too sweet kind of a greeting back there, and so was really cool to see that. Now you kind of wonder, is that Adam Cole maybe changing? Is he maybe going face? Is this it? Is this now? I mean, now the rumors are swirling about saying that maybe Finn is going to join up with Undisputed Era and kind of boot Adam Cole, and that's how he goes up to the main roster. Of course, we're talking about the draft. We have the draft coming up soon, and that's when things are really going to get rolling. The draft will start to change lineups and things like that, and we will see people moved around, as Gary just said. So congratulations to Finn Balor. Of course, very, very happy for him that he was able to go down to NXT and accomplish his goal and win that championship back. He is now a two-time champ in NXT, and there aren't many of those. So congrats to him. We'll see what his reign is like. It might be a little bit different. You might see, because Finn is up there, some different people kind of getting involved. Might not be the same old with Ciampa, Gargano, and that bunch. You might see some other people coming up and challenging Finn. So it might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit, a little bit of a changing landscape with NXT. And of course, if they're going to send Cole up to the main roster, or who else they may do that with, we'll see that too. But again, yes, I was hoping Finn would get this, of course, since the time when he lost the title because of injury when he was up in WWE. So Jeff, what did you think of Finn winning?
I think that this was the right call. I think a lot of us called that before because we just didn't think that it made sense for Adam Cole to get the belt back this soon. So kudos to Finn Balor. Another great match. I mean, that's the one thing that we can say about that. Those two guys in a ring, it equals magic. So kudos to him. And, honestly, I'm looking forward to see what happens next with Finn and who ends up coming to challenge him, and what we see with this next. So I'm really excited to see what's going forward. So and honestly, like you said, what's next for Adam Cole? What's next for Undisputed Era? So exciting stuff in NXT.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't wait to see where it goes. Going to be different. Going to be, like I said, a different reign, I think, now that Finn Balor is the champ. And again, kudos to Finn Balor. So happy for him. All right. So let's move on. What is up next?
All right. So let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way, Joe. Everybody's favorite.
Yes. Retribution. Good Lord. Well, now they have a logo. And they, Gary mentioned it. Are these the people who are we're gonna see unmasked? Are these the actual wrestlers that are in the group? We don't know. I don't know. I guess it's cool. They came out and stated their intent instead of running around and, spray painting windows and soaping doors and, throwing smoke bombs. Anyway, I just kind of want something to happen with this. Again, I know we talk about long-term storytelling. Yes. But look, this is a brand new thing that they're just trying to get established, and they've got to pull a trigger here at some point, because so many opportunities that they've had, and just let it go by the wayside. Pay-per-view opportunities and stuff like that they let go by, and nothing. And now we finally got this, and so I don't know. I mean, we have a logo now. We have a purpose of intent and what they're intending to do. So I don't know. I just don't know where they're going with it. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know where it's headed. I honestly, I think the only cool outcome for me for this now could be that if it really is something to do with WWE Underground and that Shane is in charge of this group. That to me now has become the only outcome that makes sense to me, and that would make this interesting because Shane has a beef. And Shane could be the one coming out with, could be the leader of this group. And then some of these guys may be working in Underground right now, and we kind of don't even know that. So that to me is intriguing. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of, like I said before, and I said this a few weeks ago, I'm getting over Revolution. I'm getting over Retribution. I'm just getting over it. I'm not excited about it anymore. It's too random how things happen. There's no story to it. And we've heard reports about Raw and how Raw is just a discombobulated mess that Vince McMahon changes on a week-to-week basis right before the show starts. I don't think that's a good look. And if that's really true and Vince is going in there and rewriting everything, oh boy. And maybe this is all a part of that. I don't know. But I don't know, Jeff. What about you? I'm getting a little revolutioned out. I don't even want to say it. I'm getting retributioned out, is what I wanted to say.
I'm at the point where I just want to see something happen to freshen the whole storyline back up. Even if they don't let us know who everyone is initially, give us one person. Let us see one person and give us that person and why they are in Retribution. So, right now there's just not a lot going on with it. The way that they show up and the timing of it sometimes just doesn't make sense. So, give us a little something, please. I mean, it will be cool, and obviously we've talked about, how we as fans like to fantasy book certain situations, but it never turns out that way. So I don't want to do that because I don't want to get my hopes up and think, well, it'd be really cool if they did this or that. So I just want to see something. Give me a little something, like give me a glimpse. Obviously, we've got people out there that are speculating as to who is included in the group. Yeah. There's an audio file out there that takes away the voice changer effect. So, people have started to kind of make their own assumptions as to who's in it. At this point, I don't know if WWE knows who's in it. And maybe that's why we don't know who's there yet. Yeah. But regardless, we need something because a lot of people have begun to lose faith in it if they haven't already. And I think we just need to get to a point where we just get some type of reveal, even if it's just one person at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Gavin said Retribution will never reveal themselves. It'll just go into the Wrestling Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah, that book's getting kind of big, isn't it? We have the Hacker that takes up quite a big chapter of that book. And yeah, when Kyle was on our Abby's Window show, he kind of hit the nail on the head with that. And he said, it's almost just like they just don't care. Like they just stop writing stuff and just kind of figure that we will forget all about it, which is just kind of ridiculous. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I don't know where Underground is going. I don't know where Raw is going. Raw has definitely been the worst of the two shows. Thank goodness for Seth Rollins and recently for Dominic Mysterio, because Raw has just not been good. It has not been good, and I don't know. Maybe they'll get to the draft and they'll fix it. But it is lopsided with SmackDown, and the lineups, with SmackDown are just way better than Raw. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where Retribution goes. Hopefully, like Jeff said, they will do something soon. So, all right, what is next?
All right, sir. So let's stay on the red brand and let's talk about the Mysterios just beating the absolute crap out of Murphy on Monday night. So
poor Murphy. Jeez.
Man.
First he gets dissed by his Messiah. His Messiah gives up on him, and then he gets a beating by the entire Mysterio family. Yeah, that was not pretty. Kind of hung him up in the ropes, and of course Seth hung him out to dry. I think, of course, this is going towards the Seth versus Murphy, ultimately the storyline that's going to happen here eventually. I think that's where this is headed. You know, they obviously got them. Murphy was left out there all by himself, no help at all from Seth, even though he's trying to prove to Seth that he is still, you know, the guy that he got or brought him in. But yes. Listen, and very impressive too. I mean, I've got to say, you know, the more we're seeing of Dominic, the more impressed I am. He has been absolutely amazing in what we have seen so far of him, inside and outside the ring. You know, his abilities outside of the ring and doing some of the moves off the top ropes, jumping through the ropes, that kind of thing. He has been extremely, extremely impressive. And it's not like I don't know. You know, he's not kind of a stereotypical kind of a guy that moves the way he does. You know, you kind of think of maybe a little bit more of a smaller, kind of lanky guy. He's a little bit taller, so you know, he's kind of doesn't look like he would move that way. But he's been very, very impressive. But yeah, I think Murphy's moving on. To some kind of a thing with Seth. Maybe that's going to lead to Seth's going away for when he has his baby. And that's going to lead him to be going off of television. I don't know. But I think we're going to get that feud eventually with him and Murphy. And we'll see. We'll see where Dominic goes after this and what he moves on to. But his future is extremely bright, Jeff.
Yeah, man. Since he's come onto the scene, he's been very impressive. And, you know, obviously it was pretty cool to see the whole family get involved on Monday night. That was really cool. Even though I feel really bad for Murphy taking a beating like that, but hey, maybe he deserved it. But, you know, Dominic is he's so talented. And, you know, for people to say, well, you know, Rey Mysterio is his dad, yes, but let me tell you, ask Michael Jordan's kids if athleticism and all of that stuff passes down from generation to generation, because his sons, while they played basketball, were nowhere near as good as he was. But I mean, Dominic is he's phenomenal. You can tell that he's put in a lot of work to get to where he is right now. And I'm really excited to see what the future holds for him. I can see them starting to give him a pretty good push at some point soon. Does he go into a title picture or anything like that? No, I don't think so. Not right now, but, you know, expect to see a little bit more of him. And, you know, I know a lot of people will look at the matchups and say, well, my goodness, he's wrestled against either Seth Rollins or Murphy every single time. Well, you also have to take into account that these are his first matches. So in order to get him over the way they want to and the way that they need to, he's got to look a certain way in the ring. And when you're in the ring with people like Seth Rollins and Murphy, that's going to make you look better because they make people look great and their talent is tremendous. So, you know, at some point soon, we're probably going to see him up against some other people. And see from there. But I just think the sky's the limit for this guy, and I'm really excited to see what they do next.
Yep, absolutely agree. Let's see. Butterspark says Seth versus Murphy, a kendo stick match from hell. Hell in a Cell 2020, book it. Dominic has a bright future, says Showtime Torres. Welcome to you, by the way. Jesse Callan is here. Caffeine does nothing for Jesse. Jesse Callan is immune to caffeine. Yes. Tyler Hahn says, I hope Murphy leaves Seth. Yeah, I think that's pretty much a given. I think that's absolutely coming up. All right. So, Jeff, what have we got up next?
Okay, so the last thing that we're going to discuss in the opening bell this week is none other than
Oh
Matthew
boy.
Hardy.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh boy.
man.
Yeah. So, well, those of you who watched the AEW pay-per-view on Saturday, we did stream it. So there were some people that watched it along with us. We saw everything that you saw here. Now, did it look bad? Yes, it looked horrible. Looked like his head smashed off of the cement. What we know and what are the facts without speculation, and we know, of course, Jeff is a wrestler, so we know we saw the X get thrown up by the referee, which means that someone is hurt. That's kind of a universal sign for when there is an injury. We saw that when, was it Ibar or Eric?
Yeah, Ivar.
Yes.
Ivar. Yep.
So we saw Ibar do that when he landed and hurt his a cervical bone, I think it is. He landed hard on his back, and then he put the X up. That is a universal sign, in case you did not know, for when there is an injury. Now, the referee did this, okay? So obviously they saw it, okay? I listened to, if you guys ever listened to, yes, the X got thrown up twice. If you guys ever listen to Busted Open, I listened to it quite a bit. If you want to go and listen to Bubba Ray Dudley's take on this, Bubba Ray talks about it as well. And he said Matt was not in his right frame of mind. He said you could tell he was wobbling around, he was stunned, and he said sometimes, even though that happens, you can sometimes go on sheer adrenaline. And even though, that's exactly what he called it autopilot, and said that he knows that because he had a similar injury where he continued to go and he was just running on autopilot. And he thinks that that's kind of what happened with Matt, that he was running on autopilot, yelling at Sammy Guevara and things like that. And then someone, and I'm not going to state anything that I don't know as a fact, but whoever the doctor was, now, they're saying this doctor had been involved with other things controversial like this as well beforehand, but the doctor had cleared him at some point, apparently, which, listen, all I know is what I see on during games and athletes, right? If I see a football game and I see an athlete that gets hit hard in the head and he either gets taken off or they pull him off the field and they put him in that little tent, he is not back out on the field right away. He is in that tent for, 10, 15 minutes. They put him through what they call concussion protocol. And they test them and they look in their eyes and do whatever else. They make sure that they're coherent, things like that. There was none of that. They didn't do that. So that's a fact. There was no concussion protocol. So that is an absolute fact. And, so then, of course, we had the thing with Matt's wife. Matt's wife very concerned about her husband, saying that this is garbage and the fact that this happened to him, and they let him continue. Of course, they had him climb a scaffold. And this is the part that kind of gets me, right? Like, okay, if you have them continue and then just kind of end it somehow where he just gets an easy pin or something like that, they had him climb a scaffold. I mean, if the dude falls off the wrong way on the scaffold, and Jeff mentioned this, comes down and cracks his head open or something like that. Good Lord, this could have been terrible. So thankfully he's okay. Thankfully, nothing serious. Well, I don't know. We don't know what happened. We're getting conflicting stories. Tony Khan is saying nothing happened. He did not have a concussion. His wife is saying he did. Others that are in Matt's camp are saying he did. Matt said tonight on the show he was injured. So, and I mean, there's even a lot of people wondering, is this a storyline? Guys, look, if this is a storyline, bad taste. Really, really, really bad taste. And I don't think this is a storyline. I just don't. I can't see a reasoning behind it, if it was. So, yeah, this was just not a good look. This is not a good look for an up-and-coming company. To handle things like this way, not a good look. And I wouldn't be surprised if whoever that doctor was who supposedly cleared him is not let go. in the near future because it's that bad. C said Tony Khan lied. It's a cover up. Yeah, look, I mean, again, there is a lot of that going around. There's a lot of speculation going around. Who is not telling the truth here? Who is lying here? And we may never know. We may never find out because we're not in the know. We're not going to hear that from an owner. We're not going to hear that if Vince was, if this situation had happened with Vince wouldn't be coming out telling us either. So we're not going to know. But this was not a good look. And man, oh man, they're probably just hoping everybody's going to forget about it. I don't think so. And I think you're going to, a lot of times when things like this happen in the NFL, and a guy is hurt on the field or with a concussion and they let him go back and play, heads roll. You will get, now the owner can't fire himself, but he will let go a doctor. He will let go medical personnel, like people in the locker room. They get let go. They lose their jobs over things like this because it is a bad look. So I don't know, man, Jeff. I don't know what more there is to really say. But I know you watched it with me, and yeah. There's just no good way to put this. There's really just no good way to put it.
No, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more during Inside the Rope. So I won't. I mean, you made all the points that I was going to make. I'm just glad that we got an update from Matt Hardy himself tonight. I'm glad that he's okay. I can say that when we saw it live, it looked terrible.
Yeah.
And I think I mean, as soon as we saw it, I was like, okay, he looks like he's hurt for real. Like that looked bad. When it comes down to it, it wasn't handled properly. I mean, there's just no way to sugarcoat that. It just was not handled properly. And and let me back up real quick because tonight, Matt apologized for the match going the way that it did and things happening the way that it did. I doubt that he is listening, but Matt, if you are, you have zero reason to apologize to any of us. As a wrestling fan, as a Matt Hardy fan, anytime I get to see Matt Hardy wrestle or on my TV screen, I'm happy. So he doesn't owe me an apology or anyone else. I'm just glad that he's okay. Having said all of that, what I hope happens from this is that AEW learns, but also professional wrestling promotions in general learn.
Yeah, very true.
I really hope that this situation wakes some people up because I can go ahead and tell you this isn't the first time that this has happened.
There you go.
It's happened in many other promotions, and it won't be the last. But what can be changed from this is how wrestling companies handle the situation. My thing is this: if you see a referee or a performer throw up an X, stop the match.
Yeah.
I don't care about a storyline.
Yep.
I care about that person's safety and well-being. I don't really care how the match finishes at that point. Now, Joe, you brought up a great point. Going onto that scaffold after that is the part that bothers me the most because we saw Matt barely being able to function and, kind of wobbling around, and then we see him try to climb up that, and you could tell just by seeing him climb or trying to climb that his balance and equilibrium was off. There are so many things that happen in the course of a wrestling match where things change on the fly and people never know the difference. That same thing could have been done. They could have taken that match home right after they, quote unquote, cleared Matt to finish participating. So that could have been the finish could have been changed right then and there. They always have communication with the referee, so that could have been changed. They could have done a chair shot or something like that. where it could have ended the match right then. Maybe it's not the best finish and people are crapping on the finish, but you know what? I'd rather crap on the finish and have a guy be healthy than take a chance by climbing something that he could have fallen off of and the injury could have been far worse. So I'm just glad that Matt is okay.
Yep.
I don't want to get into the blame game of the doctor should have done this or Tony Khan should have done that. I have my personal opinions on that. But I just believe that when it comes to this, I hope that other wrestling promotions have taken a look at this and say, okay, as a group, we need to come up with something in professional wrestling that looks similar to the NFL concussion protocol, because this is something that happens often. This is one of the reasons why unprotected chair shots were taken out of the business, even though some people still do it. But this is one of the reasons why. A lot of people, when you think about CTE and long-term damages from concussion or head injuries, this is one of the things that can happen, and this is what could lead to it. So, hopefully professional wrestling as a whole begins to look at this issue and develop some type of protocols, company by company, to better protect their talent.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, I mean, this is something that everyone needs to get behind. It's like you said. Look, I mean, this has happened before, and Bubba Ray Dudley mentioned it too. This happened to him. So this has been going on down the line and been happening a long time. So yeah, it's not just AEW. This unfortunately happened there, but it's not just them. It's all the promotions have to get with it, and they have to, they have to get back. They have to do something better than what they're doing. So yes, I completely understand and completely agree with you. So, but yes, they need to do better with this kind of thing, because it's a serious thing. It really is. It's a serious issue. It's a serious issue within sports. And they've started to get to the point where they have decided they've started to do something about it. I mean, these people that have these bad concussions, many football players, get them. And then later in life, they're affected by it to the point where, they lose motor functions and motor skills and things like that. So it's certainly not a laughing matter. It's something that definitely has to be handled better by everyone. So, right. All right, man. I'm moving right on. So what are we headed to next, Jeff?
So we're going to head to the Backstage Pass and talk about Gary's favorite promotion right now. And I believe, I don't want to speak for you, Joe, but it's probably my favorite right now, and that's Impact Wrestling and what we saw last night and what we're going to see going forward.
Yeah. Like I said, man, Impact's just a great time. I absolutely just love doing the streams for Impact every Tuesday night. It's just a blast. It's really low key and really not like there's not a lot of nerves, not a lot of not a lot of stress. People get worked up over storylines and all this kind of stuff, and you just don't see that. It's just fun. It really is. If you guys haven't joined us for an Impact stream, it's just a heck of a lot of fun, and we really, really enjoy doing it. And the people who come over have a great time too, and they're just killing it. They really are. Like just week after week after week, they're coming up with new storylines. They defend their titles weekly. You see the championship put up on the line every week. It was put on the line last night. We saw Tommy Dreamer get a championship shot of all people, and just so much stuff going on with it. And I'm really, I mean, Eric Young now the champion. We've got we've got the women in a tag team match that's coming up this week. That Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly going up against Susie and oh my goodness, Susie
Kylie
and
Ray.
Kylie Ray, yes, the #1 contender to the title. So that's coming up next week. We've got a man's 4 versus 4 match coming up.
Yeah, we got an 8-man tag. Yeah, 8-man tag. We got Motor City Machine Guns and the Rascals against, somebody help me out, I believe Madman Fulton and Ace Austin and let's see, somebody help me out. I want to say it's the North, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. The North is involved, I think, aren't they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure
think
they are
so.
involved in
I
that.
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, so I mean, a big 4 versus 4 match next week, and we should get some more answers to EC3 and Moose looking for his title. I mean, just like I said, it's just very low key, very very what's the word? Non-crazy kind of a thing. We all get so crazy sometimes with with wrestling and with storylines with WWE, with storylines with AEW. It just gets crazy sometimes. But yes, I really enjoy Impact. I really love it. It's fun. It's a good time. The guys that are in the chat, I know Sean Flagstaff just joined. He said he's sleepy, but he's here. Thanks, Sean, for joining.
Thank you.
Sean will attest. He is in our stream every single Tuesday for Impact. It is just a really, really good time, and everybody that watches it really enjoys it. Showtime Torres says the North, yes. So a lot of fun in the streams.
Yeah, and I think I said this last night, Joe. But the one thing I really love about Impact Wrestling is that they don't insult our intelligence as wrestling fans. A lot of times we see storylines in WWE, and I'll just throw them out for an example because they seem to be the biggest offender of this. But they'll do a storyline, then they drop it, and then they act like we won't remember what they had going. And then they'll do something, and then the very next week is something different. What I can say is Impact, and it's not like this just started. Impact has been on fire for quite a while. The difference now is the build that they did to Slammiversary and everything that they've done after that has drawn more eyes to their product. So kudos to them for taking advantage of the momentum that they created themselves and continuing to build on it. I mean, we got to think, after Slammiversary, we got Wrestle House. That was amazing. We've gotten all of these weekly challenges. It started out with Eddie Edwards, and now we're going to see the same thing with Eric Young probably. So they're taking advantage of the momentum that they have. Their tag team division, my goodness, is tremendous. The Knockouts division, tremendous. I mean, I looked at the Knockouts that they have, and talent top to bottom. I mean, we can argue about it, but give me a better division. I mean, obviously, a lot of people will say NXT's women's division, and and arguably WWE on SmackDown and Raw. But honestly, their Knockouts division is amazing. So kudos to them for doing what they do and keeping it fun and entertaining. The other thing that we see with Impact is they have something for everyone. They've got the comedic stuff. They've got the hardcore technical wrestling. They've got the high spots and all of those things. So they have a little bit of everything for every wrestling fan, no matter what you're looking for. So I'm hooked. I know I went out on a limb, Joe, I believe, before you really started watching religiously with Impact. And I said that, they were killing it, and by the end of the year, people were going to start noticing. Well, I think I was right. So I'm glad people are finally giving them the credit they deserve.
Yeah, I agree. And bright future ahead for Impact. And again, like I said, really have a fun time doing that. So yeah. All right, man. What have we got next?
So we're gonna take a trip inside the ropes, and just because we talked about this before, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way so we don't make anybody uncomfortable the rest of the night. And talk about Matt Hardy's match. Matt Hardy's match at All Out should have been stopped. Sell or no sell, my friend.
Yeah, we went into detail with this, so we're not going to go into too much here. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It should have been, and I'm sure everybody probably does. But yeah, I love it. Yeah, not going to spend any more time on this than we already did. It was mentioned by Gary. It was mentioned by us earlier. We all know what our thoughts on it are, and we feel that, again, like we said, Not just them, but everybody needs to do the concussion thing and needs to do it better. They just need to have more awareness. Look at the other sports out there and have more awareness, show more awareness, and show more awareness to injuries to the head overall. It's just it's a big thing now in sports and shouldn't be anything less in wrestling. So yes, and that's all I'm going to say on it because we touched on it enough.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I love it.
Sell for sure, because it should have been stopped. There was no reason for the match to continue. Especially with Matt looking the way that he did. It was clear that something was wrong. We'll never know the truth as to if it was a concussion or not. We all have eyes. Those of us that watched it live, we know what we saw and what we believe. That, that's for another day. But yeah, like I said earlier when we talked about this needs to wake up other promotions. We saw a very scary situation in a women's tag team match when the Kabuki Warriors went against Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in WWE, and you could tell that Kairi Sane was out of it completely. And Becky kind of worked with her and finished calling some of the match on the floor to get that done. But it shouldn't be on the talent to make decisions like that on the fly. And to be honest with you, the excuse that, well, Matt said he's okay. Here's what I'm going to say to that. Having been a football player in the past and as someone who has had a concussion, if you ask me, do you want to go back out on the field? My goodness, I've gone back out on the field with broken fingers that my coach set back into place on the sideline just because I wanted to go back into the game. If you ask an athlete if they want to go back into a game or back into a sport that they love, they're going to tell you yes 10 times out of 10. That is the least reliable source that you should ask when it comes to can you continue, because the answer is always going to be yes. Take it out of the hands of the talent, put it in the hands of the referees who are right there in the action, and let them throw up the X, and that be it. We shouldn't have a restart anymore at that point. It should just be done. So that's it. I'm done talking about that.
All right. Yes, let's move on from that, shall we?
Something more fun. Let's talk about is this a must-see match? McIntyre versus Fury. Do we want to see these two guys sell or no sell?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of teasing for this. We got another tweet the other day from Tyson Fury walking down the streets of I guess it was somewhere near Glasgow or in Scotland, and he had a bagpipe player playing Roddy Piper's theme music walking with him. It was really funny. It was really well done. I thought it was funny. I had a chuckle, but yeah, it looks kind of like we're getting something here where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe this is where they go after what culminates on the pay-per-view next with him and Randy. Obviously, if Randy gets beaten, which it looks as if he probably will, and that's probably going to end that feud. And then Drew going to move along. So does he go up against Tyson Fury for his next match? Look, if it is, it's going to be probably maybe at Hell in a Cell. They'll have it there, or maybe it'll be, I don't know that they'll have Drew do this at Survivor Series, but maybe. You never know. If they want to get that star power in there, obviously Tyson Fury attracts a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'll take it. I love it. Yeah, I'll take it because, it's not the worst thing ever. It's two guys from the same geographical area kind of going at each other. We all know what's going to happen here. Drew's going to win, obviously. He's not going to beat like he did beat Braun. Drew will end up giving him the Claymore, and that'll be it. So, but look, when you bring a guy in like Tyson Fury, who's immensely popular, he's going to bring eyes to the show, and that's obviously what WWE WWE wants here. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Are these matches ever good? No. They're not wrestling matches. Those guys aren't trained in wrestling. Now, Tyson Fury did train a little bit for his Braun match, but that was a long time ago. So, who knows how much he retained and things like that, but we'll see. He'll get in a couple shots on Drew, maybe knock him down, and then Drew will give him a Claymore. It'll be over and done with, but it is what it is. I think it just brings faces to seats, or faces to the TV screen. Nobody's going to be in the seats. Well, the virtual seats. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. And like I said, I love the thing with Roddy Piper. I thought that was great.
Okay, so I'm going to no-sell this. And the reason why I'm no-selling it is because of what you said. This is not going to be a great match. And quite honestly, you put yourself in a difficult situation because Tyson Fury is a champion. He's a boxing champion. So he can't afford to look a certain way, even if it is in wrestling. Obviously, Drew McIntyre has done a phenomenal job as a champion for WWE. So he can't look bad in this. So there's really not a winning situation no matter what you do in this case. The other thing that I have to say is that, and I never thought I'd say this, especially as a former football player. Pat McAfee raised the bar and set expectations of what people who are not full-time wrestlers should do. He took it seriously. You could tell that he trained his butt off when it came to his match against Adam Cole. He did some great things in that match. And I know that we're not going to get that from Tyson Fury. Now, if this was just like, if they did some type of gimmick match, or if it was just promos and they just cut promos on each other and did something cool like that, I'd be fine with it. But in terms of a match, I really don't want to see this right now. WWE needs to do a better job with some other storylines right now. And I just don't think this adds to things that they're trying to do. So for that reason, I don't want to see it right now. Keep building it. I'm okay with that. And if you want to keep building this while Tyson Fury is doing his thing and maybe training a little bit for wrestling, no problem with that. But I really don't want to see this year because I just don't think he's dedicated the time to do what I think we want to see in that match. So for that reason, I'm gonna no sell it.
All right, well there you go. And what is our next topic?
All right, we talked about this young man already. So Dominic Mysterio is deserving of a major push. Sell or no sell?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going to sell this. There's no question about it. I love it. Yeah, I think the kid is amazing. What he's accomplished in the short time that he's been around is just awesome. We weren't really sure what we were going to see. There were a lot of people saying, well, how is he going to be? What's he going to do? In the first match, we weren't really too sure. He got a street fight as his first match. So you maybe not see a lot of the athleticism, a lot of the stuff that he can maybe do, but we have certainly seen it in the last few weeks. Not only did we see him take a severe beating with a kendo stick, but we've just seen the athleticism, we've seen the high flying that he has, we've seen the in-ring skills that he has. Some of the moves that he was doing from the ropes and stuff were just really, really amazing that this young guy is doing all this stuff. He's been around the business for quite a long time. Bray Wyatt mentioned that he was excited to see him wrestle. So he's been around the wrestlers, been around the guys in the back, and that goes a long way. It's not just the stuff that Ray has taught him, but when you're around the business like that, you learn things and you get to know things that are going on. C says Dominic has the best drop kick today. Yeah. Really, really impressive. So yeah, he should definitely, I think, get a push. I don't know if they're going to push him toward any kind of a title just yet. I think it's a little early for that. He's got kind of a built-in feud that he could go to next with Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler and him can have a feud, and of course we know Dolph is ever the good soldier. He goes out there, does what he does, and a lot of times what he does is he just acts the heel and gets people to hate him and then gets that face over, and he's extremely good at that. So I would love to see a program between Dominic and Dolph going, coming up next. Whether Dolph gets involved somehow, I don't know. But yeah, give this guy, let him go. He deserves it. He's been doing a fantastic job.
Yes, I am going to sell this as well, Joe.
I love it.
And honestly, when you look at this guy from a technical standpoint, it's just amazing. I mean, knowing how young he is, and a lot of people said, well, he's Rey Mysterio's kid, so he must be, he must have been training for years. I mean, he came out in an interview and said that no, I mean, it's not like he was pushed into doing this. He started training, a few years ago, and he's done quite well. But, the other thing I want to say is a major push doesn't mean a title program. A major push can be a program with someone who has some status. And it would be perfect for him to be in a program with Dolph Ziggler. And, Dolph has he had a lot of title reigns? No. But what I will give you is this: Dolph is he is one of the best wrestlers, period. And the reason I say that is because not only does he have a good promo, he cuts good promos, but his in-ring skills are amazing, and he's going to elevate whoever is in the ring with him. And that's what he would do for Dominic Mysterio. And that's a natural progression for Dominic, being in the ring with not only Seth Rollins, but Murphy, and then to go in with Dolph, someone who's going to put him over in a way that's going to make his stuff look really good and make him look strong and make him look like he's up and coming. That's what Dolph does very well. So that's the type of push that he needs to be in. He needs to be in a situation where he's getting higher profile matches, not necessarily for a title, but relevant pushes and relevant storylines. That's what he needs at this point, because I mean, the sky is the limit for this guy. And I mean, I've not seen someone his age this early on in their career do what he's doing, and that's a lot to say. But he's killing it right now. So so give the guy some quality matches going forward. Get him in a program with Dolph. Let Dolph sell some of his stuff very well, and let this thing go. And I want to see him do a little bit more on the mic, and I think someone like Dolph will bring that out of him. They'll bring, some of those promo skills out where he can do a little bit more, show a little bit more of his personality, and develop some of those skills. Because if he adds a solid promo to his in-ring skills, he's going to be a future champion one day.
Yep, absolutely. C says it's very refreshing seeing someone grow on the main roster, not in NXT, to the point that when they debut, we're already bored of them. Yeah, very true.
Yes.
Very true. Great point. All right, man. What's up next?
So, we're at the point where we want to get some feedback from the chat. So we're at the community choice point, man.
All right. Well, look, we have... So we'll reach out to the community. Give us a debate topic. Give us any topic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be wrestling. Give us a debate topic, something or another. We always usually have fun with stuff like this. So give us something to debate. We will do that. While we're doing that, let us mention a couple things. One, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please do that. Please like our video as well, and please share the video with others. If you know some other wrestling fans and they would enjoy what we're doing, please share the video also. And also make sure you are out there. You can join our Facebook group. You can subscribe to us on Twitch. Check us out in any of those areas, really. And if you do, again, make sure that you are letting others know what we are doing and some of the things we are doing as well. And of course, our sponsor, hopefully somewhere down the road, we will mention them because they are on the screen, is Manscaped. Yes, refining the gentleman. And you can get these great products. Jeff and I got sent some stuff in the last few days. Very cool of them to do that. Yes, you use that code INSIDERS. That gets you a 20% off of your order from them. We will go into a little more detail about that next week with you on the beginning of our show. So yes, guys, tame the jungle. Yes, tame the jungle. So there you go. So let's see. What are we saying? No, JB, we're not getting into that. Who's better?
No.
Nobody's better. We're not getting into better. Debate world peace. No, that's not going to get.
We don't have
touched.
enough time for that.
That's going to get touched. Who is the Funhouse friend on Friday? Wobbly Walrus asked Butter. Well, that's not really a debate, but a question. I don't know. Well, here's the scary part about that. And that's kind of what Gary touched on a little bit. So they took the spot down. I don't really know what this means. They took the spot down from YouTube for that. For the Funhouse from last week is now gone. They also took it down from, and C Wrestling mentioned this because I wouldn't know it because the replay doesn't show here. But he had mentioned that they took it off of the replays shown overseas. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm hoping that it's not something bad, meaning that they're changing the story and hoping we forget about it. Where have I heard that before tonight? I hope that's not what it is. Now, Gary said he hasn't heard anything. I haven't read anything myself. I've been keeping an eye out on the dirt sheets, which I hate to do. Makes me feel dirty. That's why they call them dirt sheets. But I haven't seen anything personally, so I'm kind of hoping that that's not true. But I did speak to Kyle, and Kyle wasn't happy about a few things, and I'm not going to go into it because that's Kyle's stuff. But I don't know. I hope that that's not the case. We didn't see anything advertised for it. We didn't see anything on the SmackDown ads. We saw the Roman thing advertised. We saw now we're hearing about AJ Styles showing up. So I don't know. I mean, granted, we didn't see an advertisement for we didn't see it for last week either. We didn't know Bray was showing up. I didn't know anyway. So I don't know. Let's hope that that's not the case and that they just didn't decide to all of a sudden nix the storyline, because they're going to have a lot of unhappy people if they do, because there's a lot of people that are looking forward to Friday's show specifically to see that after that tease about a new friend. So I really hope that they just didn't decide to pull it. They're going to have a lot of unhappy people. C said, I hope that they just done it as an Easter egg. Hope they wanted to be an Easter egg for those that saw it and a surprise for those that didn't. Yeah, let's hope that that's all it is. And maybe, we were even talking, that puppet that you mentioned, the wobbly walrus or whatever it is, let's hope that that's not the cause, that didn't get leaked. And that was going to be indeed the friend on Friday. So let's hope that's not the case. JB Mushmeister says, was Rosemary better as a face or a heel? I kind of think I know who that is that's asking that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll be completely honest, dude. I haven't seen enough of her matches to make a decision on it. I would, of course, I'm going to say as a heel because I kind of like that character. She's supposed to be a demon, so I dig it. I like the heel character better. Jeff might be able to answer that one though a little better than I would because he's watched it more than me. So shoot it over to Jeff. Jeff, what do you think? Better as a face or a heel?
Listen, I think anytime you have a character like this, the darker the better. So give me heel Rosemary all day, every day. I don't want to see her happy-go-lucky. I want to see her wrecking people. So
there you go. There you go.
Give me that.
There you go. Awesome. Well, thank you for the question, man. We really appreciate that. So yeah. So listen, it's been a crazy 3 weeks. We've just come through the busiest part of our schedule, and man, have we been busy. It's been crazy ever since we started doing this back in March. Probably the craziest it's been. Pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view. And now we're coming to a little bit of a lull in the action. So no pay-per-views this Sunday and Saturday, nothing on the weekend. We're kind of in between there. And the next one we're going to probably get is going to be the WWE's pay-per-view, which is Clash of Champions, which is coming up 18 days. Yeah, 18 days. So we're going to have 3 more SmackDowns before that. And we're going to have 2 more Raws before that. So 5 more shows before their next pay-per-view. Which is Clash of Champions. We've already started hearing some matches for it. Clash of Champions, obviously, with Drew and Randy. I mean, what is that going to be? Are we going to get Jaw versus Jaw? Are we going to get Jabberjaw? Are we the Shark? I mean, I don't know. I mean, both guys have been hurting each other's jaw. That's all I know. So are we going to get something along those lines? Who knows? Is it going to be Hell in the Cell? Is it going to be? I don't know. What else? Have we heard any? We got any other matches for that? I think we. I'm trying to think.
Not yet. I don't think we have.
I mean, we have a champions versus champions match next Monday, which we got on Raw with Cesaro and Shinsuke going up against We Want the Smoke. Yes, so that'll be kind of a cool little match. We've got that.
With that, Joe, and I wouldn't be mad at this. What I'm about to throw out, I would not mind them having a champion versus champion match at Clash of Champions with the stipulation of unifying the belts.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I don't think that either brand right now has a strong enough tag division to warrant championships on both shows. So maybe giving us a unification of the belts and having that tag team go to the different shows to defend. I think that may spice up the tag division a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And look, we're in a weird time now, guys, too, with WWE because everything's going to end up changing. We just got changes of storylines and stuff like that, but I think they kind of just continued some things on, like Randy and Drew, but everything's going to start to change up now a little bit because we're going to get the draft probably the Monday. Like I said, I was telling you guys last week to keep your eye on the date of the 28th, which is the day after Clash of Champions. So keep your eye on that Monday. Of course, the 28th, and then the 30th if they're going to do anything with NXT, and then of course the 2nd, which is Friday. That could be the days of your draft. It may seem that way. A lot of people saying the rumor is that it's going to be the first week in October, so that would make a lot of sense. But so it seems like we're going to get a lot of changes, and obviously it's very, very top heavy for SmackDown right now. Very top heavy. A lot of people on that show, and a lot of big names on that show. So I know that they're going to change things up, and maybe this is why all this crazy stuff is happening with the rewrites, and Vince kind of getting involved and things like that, and it's all kind of all over the place a little bit on Raw. So I don't know. We'll see what's going on. C says, do you think the AEW did the Miro Kip story about Twitch just because of the WWE news about Twitch? Well, you never know. You never know. Could be. Yeah. It could be. They're always firing shots back and forth at each other. I mean, who knows? It's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Johnny Bates says Rosemary needs to go back to downright murdering people like she did to KC Spinelli. Yeah, I got to go back and watch some Rosemary matches with the many other things that I need to watch.
Go back and check some of them out, man. Because
I really have to do that.
Yeah,
I really have to do that. But yeah, so guys, I guess that's about it. We'll give you some time back in your night.
Listen, we unless she's driving.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jesse, where are
Unless,
you at? Are
yeah.
you driving still? Yeah, that's right. We got to end with a laugh. Jesse, where are you? Are you listening, Jesse Callan? If so, it is that time of the stream. It is time for a Callan Corner. So, Jesse, if you are available and not still driving, let us know. Throw us something. It's pull over to the side of the road and throw something in the chat. Don't do it while you're driving, of course.
Please don't.
But yeah, so I'll go over with you what we've got for the rest of the week. Obviously, tomorrow night we are off. Nothing tomorrow. Friday we will have Hot Tag with Brandy and Jeff. Of course, always pending that that Brandy's feeling well. I know she was. Jesse said just a second, so there you go. So hopefully Brandy's doing well. She sounded good on Saturday night when we talked to her on AEW, so hopefully she's doing well. If so, we will have that for you tomorrow, and that is the sensational. I'm sorry, Friday. That is the sensational Sherry hot tag that we will be doing. That will be Jeff and Brandy for that. That will be at 6 p.m. Eastern time, as always. And then we're pretty clear for the weekend. We pretty much got nothing. Jeff's got a lot of stuff going on with his life, things going on with him that he's got to take care of. So give Jeff a little bit of a break and let him get some stuff done as far as his real life stuff that he's got to get moving on and get straightened out. So Jesse said, I was driving, but just got to one of my stops. Okay, well, there you go. Yes, don't text and drive. We don't want you to do that.
Please don't.
So yeah, so that's our schedule for the rest of the week. And then, of course, next Monday starts it all over again. We have Abby's Window on Monday with Jody, Jeff, and myself. We will talk, obviously, about anything that comes up with Bray on Friday Night SmackDown also. So big shout out to Jody, by the way. She got quite the surprise today, didn't she? Yeah, Jody, our own Jody, got a follow from Bray Wyatt on Twitter. So there you go. Amazing. Awesome for Jody. Yeah, I know Jody was really hoping that someday, she mentioned it many, many times on the show, hoping that someday Bray would follow her. Well, he has. So there you go. So Jody was in all her glory. In fact, I think she said on Twitter she almost wrecked her car. So yeah, that's it. And just again, we get back to the don't text and drive. All right, Jesse said, okay, I got one. So here we go. We are getting a Callan Corner. Wait, what, says Sonny? Yes. Jody got followed by Bray. Yeah? Yes. How cool is that? Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So we are getting a joke incoming from Jesse Callan. When it comes, I will read it out to you all. Holy crap, congrats to Jody. Yes. Callan Corner, good. I need something to get me to sleep. Oh,
wow.
Oh, man. That was a preview before Callan Corner, and it was a C Wrestling Corner. There you go.
I'm surprised the joke button still works.
All right, here we go, guys. Are you ready? I have to get the mic up close. Did you know ants never get sick? It's because they have little antibodies. Oh yes, antibodies.
That was good.
That was good, Jesse. That was good. Very, very cool. Very good. Very good. Johnny Bates, Buttersmart gives it a 10 out of a 10. Yes, there you go. Sonny Wolf gives a 10 out of 10. Oh, yes, we always like to leave on a high note. So there you go. We get the joke from Jesse, and Jesse pulled off to the side of the road to give it to us. So how cool is that? How cool is that? Even though, see, now look, C is asleep. C is fast asleep in the chat. C is sleeping in the chat. There's all the Z's coming from C Wrestling. That put him right to sleep. So, see, there you go. There you go. Oh, man. But anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, guys, as always. totally really appreciate you coming and listening to us and being a part of the show as always every week. So yeah, make sure you join us obviously for Hot Tag on Friday with Brandy always knows her stuff with the classic wrestling, really into that, and I'm sure it will be very entertaining about Sensational Sherry. Join us on Monday, of course, for Abby's must-see stuff, especially if we've got something big happening on SmackDown. And then come back next week and see us again. See us for Impact. Come and join Impact. If you have never watched the show, come and check out Impact with us also. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time doing it. So make sure that you come and join us for Impact as well. So, all right, that's it, guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your night. And, of course, enjoy the day tomorrow and have a great night with SmackDown. And hopefully we've got something cool to talk about on Monday for Abby's Window. So from Jeff and from myself, thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. Don't text and drive. Guys, use the Manscaped code. And we will talk to you all again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.